One paw.
Party time once again across the land. Envy of class, people they got out of hand. With DJ George and Robbie in front of the band. All of them are singing. If you see Rango, join me back on there. Just to get the mood. R-A-N-N-P-N. If you see Rambo, join the back on there. Just Police inside the border. Crawl right back to 1991. Whenever parties for, if you want to laugh, come Roti, next Friday we control.
With all that's happening with send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
This is not politics. Please don't forget. I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligation. No one owes me none, so everything is fine, fine. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. Serious business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine, while I take you down a poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause it sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what to go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring. If we didn't know, we never know yellow would have treat us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain.
And a good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Pity Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'll be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It is now 5 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada.
Then to economic recession.
We say a special good night to all of you listening locally, regionally, and internationally.
The cause of poverty in the land. Economic recession.
Let me say a special good night to you, Dr. Julie Dubois.
When you trick us with campaign promise.
Dr. Dubois, if you get the opportunity, give me a call tonight. Yeah, let's talk about is the Fouchard Academy. Yeah, give us a call if you get a chance.
You now refrain. All your projects are stuck in a pipeline.
Dr. Bert Braffett, good night to you as well.
Oh, fine. We are looking into it. Never mind. Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start?
Yeah, and good night to those of you listening via 91.9, 91.5 Real FM out there in beautiful St. Patrick's.
We now run no race. 5 years is a lot of space. It's just a few hungry people in a place and a few disgruntled green people with their vexed face.
Also a special good night to those of you listening via We Noise. Yes, indeed. Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn. Good night to you, Wade. Alan Campbell, good night to you, sir. The AC Major.
Busy governing, busy managing, busy politicking.
Helen Marie, good night. Mommy George, good night.
Throughout Grenada, 1,000 Frenchmen can never be.
My good friend Tyrrell. Yeah, I know that you are listening, bro. So good night to you, Tyrrell. Nice.
They're sucking money like water and foam. And rehire the Imanis. Less stress on the economy. You are Manchester, hold up the country. You didn't see us down on the bureau when they sent SSU to between. Trick us with campaign promises. We won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But you now refrain. So
I'm going to get it started in a short while. Just making sure everything, because I'm hearing something in my headphones there, just making sure it's not coming across that way to you all. Yeah.
Alone. Maybe they clone. And however, I foresee a pretensive unity that will mislead a lot just before the next ballot. But you guys will have to come real good, cause it's a long time Grenada ain't eat a food.
So folks, just remember to like and share the live. So while I'm saying it, I'm making sure I like, right, so that's 31 there. And let me make sure I like over here. And let me make sure I share as well, Nice.
You'll not refrain. You remember in the Bible, God had a plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh. But will restore Grenada? Is it the same Jonah? Lots of doubt, swine running up my mouth. And I'm counting no chicken before the hatch. Politicians sometimes form a crooked batch. After they get the vote, they not sing one note. But here comes Fort Judy and Nancy Payne, with $1 million house and brand new car on the scene, while our hungry belly still grumbling. You trick us with campaign promises. We won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited.
And let me say a special good night to those of you on the live tonight. Yeah, let me see who is over on the Facebook. And I'm seeing Ruth, Linda, Imelda, Francois. Good night to you. Sherms, good night. Yvonne Courtney, Olive McQueen, Desiree Joseph, John Mark, Ingrid Bourne, Sunny Isle, good night. Nakisha Jones, Sandra Lewis, Cynthia Bay, yeah. Yolan Mitchell Moraine, Teresa Buddy Frederick, Mavis Thorne, Laslyn Douglas, Sharon Felix, Roy Lewis, Ann Jackson, Deanne Romney, Norman Noel, Jesse Sherry, Lynn Joseph, Yvonne George, McLean Mitchell, Redgill Pascal, Maudlin Bartholomew, Kathy Gilbert Levine, good night to you, cuz. Patsy Budd, Carol Celestine, Junior George, and Salandi, Reginald Amada, Maudlin Bartholomew, Theresa Collymore, let me see, Junior George, no, not that one. Good night to you, bro. He does make sure and tell me, remind people that it's not that one, Right, Joan Henry, Peter Lewis, good night. Yeah, so good night, Norma Lewis, Max and Francis, Valma McIntosh, Maria Rennie, Nasha Belfon, Nurse Wendy Ann McGuire, good night to you. Yes, Sonny Green, Good night, good night, good night, and good night. The Buzz Boss, I see you in the house, man. Malika Dick, good night. Donna Hamilton, Hayden, Histon, Augustine, good night to you. And let me see, Denise Sandy, Clive Raymond, Landon Jane. Landon, I really have to see who is this Landon Jane, you know. Yeah. Antonito Peters, good night to you. Louisa Williams, Mary Fletcher, Annette Sincere, good night to you. Yes, North Carolina in the house, good night to you all. Teresa Gill, good night to you. Rita Pierre, Betty James, good night to each. Tegwa, I nearly miss you all day. No, Tevin Simon, Winnie Simon, Charmaine Thomas. Good night to each and every one of you, and some others joining in, but y'all know I'm going to move on to the next list. Just yes. Claire Vincent and Kieran Regis, good night. Phyllis Ramsey, Reverend Cox, parang time coming, Emma. Right, I have a few verses there. Right, nice. So good night to each and every one of you there over on the YouTube. Chief Camahon, boss, we had a talk. Jacinta Livingston, good night. Agnes Henry, Alban Harris, Gavin Thomas, Shamanda Gentle, Kathleen Ledlow, Phyllis Mitchell, Baby Daddy, Anne Marie Celestine Grant, Ann Andrews, Adrian Watts, Matthew Boyne, Wilfred Antwine, Jenna Benjamin, Marilyn Panchu, Listra Abraham Sky, Jillian Williams, Faithlyn Halley Douglas, Sherma Jeremiah, and Zela. Good night to you. Maud Martin, Carriage Spice, Deborah Laborde, Janice Mitchell, Kezzy Jack, Hermina Batiste, Clive, good night. Vanessa Lalji, Jerome Lewis, Dominic Leroy. Yeah, good life, good night to you. Deborah Laborde, Alban Harris, Jillian Williams. You're hearing a fuzz with the audio. Yeah, I thought I was hearing a little something with the audio. Yeah, let me see if we could clear it up a little bit and think there. Yeah, we might be able to. Oops. Yeah, I've got to be careful. Nice, yeah. So I hope it clears up a bit. All right. I don't know how bad it is. It's very, very bad. Let me see if I can clear it up a bit. Yeah. Let me see if I can get it a little clearer.
They say when you don't have good food.
Yeah, I have been doing some updates and so on. The system is having a slight problem.
Make sure all come.
But you know it goes, yeah, you understand? It takes yeah.
Let's go. There is no place in the world like Grenada. Its people are so unique, so fabulous. They take politics real serious. You can't tell a man nothing wrong about his party. He'll deal with you so seriously, and from there on, you are his enemy. But as a man, I must open my big mouth to lament on some things you know about. So the bad come attack me. Don't waste your time on a whole jungle like me. High in the sky, promises and mama guide. Voters say their expectations were too high. Like the old from way back now. You want to be wrong and strong. Some people balling with their mouth closed. How they do that, only God knows. Man up with talk, they balling with their jaws locked. I thought only dummies used to do that. A lady told me she's dying inside slowly, but she don't mind once it's NDC killing she. She said we had enough on the Claudius, so nothing wrong if...
Good night to Ibrahim. I'm not sure if you all are still having that problem, if it's really terrible or if it's cleared up.
The truth and reality.
Okay, here's what I see some of the folks are messaging me in between the chat in relation to t-shirts. What happens is, remember, we literally get hundreds of messages each night, and it would be difficult for me to pull out and remember that I have to get a t-shirt to this person or that person. It is better if you WhatsApp me on the studio WhatsApp. I'll get it at home, I'll get it here. If you WhatsApp me on the studio WhatsApp. So if you WhatsApp me on 440-7377, I can organize and get the t-shirts to you. But if you've left your message within the chat saying that you want a t-shirt, the size and so on, I don't always get the message, especially as the chat moves quickly and you see a lot of messages coming through. There are already a good number of messages coming through right now. So please, in relation to the t-shirts, send me a message on the WhatsApp, 440-7377. Send me a message there, and I'll organize for the t-shirts for you. And as I mentioned that we're going to open the phone lines. Yes, we will open the phone lines right now, and you will have the opportunity to call. This morning, we had the press conference by Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, the former Prime Minister, and of course the leader of His Majesty's opposition, political leader of the New National Party. And he spoke on several issues, the economic situation that exists within Grenada right now, and the challenges that many people are having to make two ends meet. So he spoke about those situations, whether it's the farmers, the fishermen, the bus drivers, and you hear the bus drivers speaking. And I listened to an interview on the narrative recently with Kalisha Faria, with one of the bus drivers, the bus association leaders. And he was mentioning that the $15 cap that was put in place by the New National Party was based on a suggestion from the bus association. In other words, the bus associations said to the then government, hey, you all need to put something in place to protect us due to the rising costs of fuel and so on. And that was implemented by the New National Party. Now it's been removed by the NDC without any discussion with the bus association or anybody. So the bus associations, they had been asking for that measure as a means of them being able to operate at a reasonable level. Yeah? But it was removed from them without any discussions taking place with them. So I was looking at that on the narrative recently, and I did see that discussion taking place. And Dr. Mitchell did speak about the challenges that not only the bus, but everybody is meeting in Grenada right now. And then he also spoke about the situation with national security. I realized that some people have taken it and they gone the direction with it, because he spoke about the John T. case and his view in relation to the John T. case that just happens to be the view of literally thousands of Grenadians. And again, he reiterated his call so that you can have independent, trusted people from outside of Grenada get involved in the process. Now, that does not say, and at no time does that say, that we do not have capable police officers here in Grenada. Yeah? It does not say that. But we see what has been happening with the leadership of the Royal Grenada Police Force. You have a police officer that was under investigation, that was taken and made an assistant commissioner of police. He was under investigation. He was taken, he was made the assistant commissioner of police when this government changed. He was given a higher rank, and it was backdated. Backdated. Yeah? Then coming on press conferences and throwing political barbs. Throwing what? And people are supposed to have confidence in the impartiality of that police force. People are supposed to believe that they are doing things in the best interest of all of us. Dr. Mitchell is right. If you want people to have full confidence, there should be no problem with asking for assistance from anyone outside of Grenada, or any organization, trusted organization outside of Grenada, to assist. It does not say that all police officers are incapable. Yeah? But you're asking for the assistance, so at least you can placate. At least you can rest the rumors that are out there. Because there are many rumors that are out there, still I hear them on a daily basis. There are many rumors out there. And if you want to put the rumors to rest, you can't be the person in charge of it. You have to get independent people to deal with that particular issue. Yeah? And meanwhile, you have officers, I don't know if they've gotten it now, and officers, let me know if you've gotten it now. But the little $60 or so that the junior officers supposed to get, they had not been getting it. I don't know if they got it in this pay packet, if they've gotten it now. But it was signed, and you hear all the noise being made that they're getting that, and all of a sudden, no, they still haven't gotten it. I don't know. I haven't spoken to any of them for this pay packet. But I know the last pay packet, they hadn't gotten it. Then you're also hearing, and we're still speaking economics here, because you're still hearing now about problems with people working in the health centers. You're hearing about problems with people working at the general hospital and other hospital facilities, that they are not receiving their salary. I'm hearing about people who are working under the Ministry of Health that has not received salary for 3 months. And they don't know what to do. And there's a fact. I'm not just saying this. There's nothing I just hear. I've spoken to these people. These people have not received. And not one or two, quite a few. You also have doctors that are going through the same situation. The same doctors that you're asking now to work on the ward and still work on accident and emergency, and you're not paying them. This is the reality of what is going on right now. They're gallivanting. Yes, okay, jump plane, go here, go there, and so on. But when it comes to fixing things like the health system here in Grenada, they said they're going to fix it. What they have done is they've rolled the health system here in Grenada back. So it's like we're back in the old colonial hospital. That's what they did. Had it not been for the dedication of the staff at these health facilities, and some of them, you have to take it from their perspective, Yeah? You're a nurse and you ain't get paid for 2 months. And when you're supposed to go home, instead of being able to go home, they say we understaff, you have to stay on for an additional how many hours. It's frustration. So sometimes, yes, I understand, they're in a profession where they're supposed to act and behave in a certain manner. But they are human beings too. And if there are these stresses that they did not have to have on them, and you are placing on them, then their behavior will reflect the environment that they are being placed in and the stresses that they are being placed under. So sometimes, yes, we meet a nurse, and sometimes you meet a nurse and it's oh my goodness, you wonder if this one just walked straight out of heaven. It had to be an angel. But other days you might meet the very same nurse and you wonder, well, some hole open and this one come up from hell. The same person, Because they're human beings. Yeah? They're human beings. They're doing a job because they care about people. That's why they got into nursing. If they're going into nursing for money and that kind of thing, then they have no right to be in it. But for those who care about people and got into nursing because they like to take care of people, yeah? And then you're placing them under additional stress, and now 2 and 3 months, they cannot receive their salaries. That's placing them under economic stress, and it's also placing them under physical and mental stress as well. And then you're asking these people to take care of those of us that are in our worst situation. And then you have patients reacting with them in a particular manner because Minister of Health saying it have medication, and then when you end up on the ward or you end up at the facility, your family are being called to tell, go down in town and buy this and bring it back. Or go down Granans by this pharmacy and get that medication and bring it back. Meanwhile, you have a minister that lying out there saying that they have medication and they have enough medication and medication problems done. Incompetent, needs to go. But then might be able to pay back the 1.7 million, but needs to go. Yeah? Incompetence. Totally incompetent. And the least place that we need an incompetent person. You see 2 places. You see when it comes to healthcare and security, you can't stand to have incompetent people there. And right now, that is a situation that we have. I mean, the whole government is incompetent. But especially in those 2 areas, it's dangerous because you're dealing with people's lives. How could you have people working in the health system 2 months, 3 months, they ain't getting paid, and like all you who in charge of them don't care? I mean, it's not surprising to me because I know you all don't care, so it's not surprising to me. But it's like these people are expected to come to work. These people are expected to go and perform as normal. And then you all don't care that when the middle of the month and the end of the month or the fortnight reach, that they are being paid, you all just not interested. But boasting about, yes, you're going and hire how much 100 people, you're going and hire how much. Nonsense. There's no economic plan and strategy. I am looking forward You all don't even know how much. I'm looking forward to hear budget 2024, the budget for 2024. I am anticipating, I'm near salivating to hear what they have to say, because I really want to hear what people like Minister Ron Redhead, that incompetent, I really want to hear what people like him have to say that they have achieved within the last year. How much people they take off for Imani, not into permanent jobs, but home. How much people they end up giving contracts, the same contracts that they say illegal. What have they done in relation to the people that they have told now have to pay their own NIS because they're on service for contract, after they were saying that that is illegal and they would take that to court? I'm interested. Minister Wap, your achievement would be that you get rid of the rats and the bed bugs within the youth center. How did it reach to the stage that you had rats and bed bugs infestation there and staff had to be on rotation? Because you and those you have brought with you are incompetent. You all need to just hand in your letter of resignation and go and sit down home. Stop wasting people's time. Look at this. We have World Cup cricket has come to the Caribbean. The island of Grenada didn't get no matches. We don't get none. Grenada. Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, in case you all forgot, when it came to the 2007 World Cup that took place in the Caribbean, was the one that led the charge of the Caribbean to get World Cup to come to the Caribbean. And Grenada got its fair share of matches. I know some people on River Road still remember that. When them Bangladeshi and them Australians used to go and lie down in the middle of the road in River Road and buying beer by the case. They didn't just buy one beer, they buying beer by the case. Food, thing, taxi, everything. Yeah? So World Cup, other countries get. So they're going to benefit. But Grenada didn't get. Knowing Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and how he's interested in cricket and how the cricketing fraternity in the Caribbean and the world respects him, there was no way under NNP administration that you wasn't getting World Cup cricket here in Grenada. But when you had this incompetent group of people, them kind of thing must happen when you destroy the structures within the Ministry of Youth. When you send home people who have been working there for over a decade. When you send home Sebastian Steele, over a decade of service. A decade of service in Garriku. Boxing coach. This guy's a certified boxing coach. He himself was a boxer that represented Grenada for many years in the early 2000s. He was a super heavyweight. Represented Grenada. Came back as a coach. Coaching successfully many young boxers coming out of Garriku. And his thanks was NDC fire him. You have, what's his name? Roger Buckmeyer again. Was working within the Ministry of Youth as a coach for many, many years. NDC come in, send him home. That's the kind of nonsense. So what you really coming in the budget to say that you achieve? People in St. George Northeast, what is he coming to say that he achieved for you all? What is he coming to say that the people of St. George is done for the people of St. George Northeast? I'm interested because I had to laugh last night when an individual called and they said that's how the minister in St. John working. That is not what the people of St. John telling me. I'm really interested to hear their budget presentation, number one, in relation to the portfolio that they hold, and secondly, into relation to the people of St. John and what their achievements within the last year, things that they have started, not that Alvin Dabrio was doing before and it happened to finish while you're there. Not things that the NNP get the funding for, the drawings for, and it just happened to build while you're there. Things that you've initiated and that are taking place within the constituency of St. John, I'm interested in hearing. I ain't moving from in front of my device. I want to hear what these people coming to tell us when the budget comes around. Because if the throne speech is a reflection of the nonsense that they're coming with there, my goodness, I might have to do program all Christmas Day. I might have to do day program and night program. If that's the nonsense that they spoke there for the throne speech. And no, I am not disrespecting Her Excellency. She read a speech that was given to her. Yeah? Disrespectfully so with certain segments of it, but it was given to her. So it's not her, but it's the government that gave her that. Yeah? I'm really interested. Tell me what the achievements have been. Well, do come and talk about pension again when you had nothing to do with pension? Remember, in spite of and not because of. Not because the sun rise in the morning when the rooster go and he make a noise mean that the rooster that rise the sun. The sun was going to rise regardless of the rooster being there making a noise. And that is the NDC for you. They like the rooster. They're making a lot of noise and they feel it's them that getting certain things done. Not realizing that things are happening in spite of and not because of. But they're enjoying that because they do not care. They just don't care. They're not interested. Yeah? I think the biggest thing that they look forward to on a monthly basis is the 2 times that their salary go into their account. And the next biggest thing that they look forward to is when they go to the diplomatic lounge on the Maurice Bishop International Airport to jump a plane and go somewhere. That's the 2 things they look forward to. Not serving the people. Not being here in Grenada and being out in the constituencies. Finding out the needs and concerns of the constituents and trying to address those. No. Jump in plane and go. And then when they come back, I didn't even mind if you jump in the plane and you're going to come back with a couple million to do a project here or do a project there, provide some employment and some jobs. But no. All they're doing is jump plane. All they're doing is jump plane. Yeah? So Prime Minister, jump plane, go on Qatar. Where you go Qatar for? So you don't have a minister of tourism and so on and civil aviation that could have go and sign that. So you don't have a minister of foreign affairs. Well, oh gosh, yeah, I forget the minister of foreign affairs. Yeah. But you could have still sent him because he could have signed on behalf of the government and people of Grenada. But instead the Prime Minister go and as usual, he had to move like Beyonce, so he had to move with the team. So he must go with executive secretary and this and that and all kind of thing. I don't know what I feel. You and I had to pay for it. So he gone with executive secretary, he gone with this one, he gone with that one. But for some of the people who support this nonsense, that is all right. That is okay. Leave him alone. Because they can't put forward a proper argument to say that what he's doing is correct. They can't do that. So they come with these nonsense. Yeah, folks, again, the phone lines are open 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Someone was telling me that they're having a problem with the overseas line. I'll try to check that in a while, but I'm afraid if I interfere with the overseas line now, what I may do is I may end up creating an audio problem. But for those of you overseas who are not getting through on the overseas line, you can call us on the WhatsApp. Nearly everybody has WhatsApp now. You can call us on the WhatsApp line if you so desire. So 440-7377. Dr. Mitchell also spoke this morning about the housing situation. As he said, this is a fetting government. All they're doing is fet. $7.5 million, $2 million towards a banknote that most Grenadians are even interested in. We want a $50 right now to spend. We want a $50 to say we go in and hold that, and that's we 50 at. And if you do a coin, might be more interested in holding a big coin and say a gold coin. You have that. But to each their own. But it's fet. $5 million to fet. Meanwhile, look at the state of the economy and look what people are going through. But $5 million to fet. Then you come, and it's very clear last night in relation to what is taking place there with the Housing Authority of Grenada and those houses. And you heard at the end of last night's program, and you know what I should have done? I should have ensured that I cut that bit out and have it to replay tonight, because it's very important. You heard there from a board member of the former board under the New National Party of the Housing Authority of Grenada, who was able to tell you what took place in relation to the phase 1 of the housing and phase 2. That the Chinese were very clear that these houses are gifts. So what the people that are presently in the facilities are paying for are the repairs and that sort of thing to the general facility where they are, right? They're paying for that. And they're paying for the inputs that government put into it. Like, in other words, putting down the foundation for the water, electricity, utilities, and those sort of things. That's what you're paying for, not the actual apartment itself. Right? But once you pay for that, you own everything fully. This government is saying you're paying for an apartment. And I mean, I saw something today. And I saw, let me see if I can pull that up. I saw something there today. And I'm pretty concerned about it. Because I saw them telling people that you have to go to one of your lending institutions. Now, let me tell you this. Suppose someone is okayed for one of the homes. Yeah? Suppose you're going for one of those homes and you have to approach a credit union, but you've not been in the credit union before, so you decide you're going to join the credit union. With credit unions, generally, I don't know if they've changed it, but with credit unions generally, you're not allowed to get a loan as soon as you join. You join, you're there for 3 months or so, and they look at your pattern of you're putting in money and so on, and then you'd qualify for a loan, and then they'd have a maximum at that stage that you could qualify for, and then if you successfully service that loan, then you could qualify for a larger loan, that sort of thing, right? Now you're telling me that you're giving people letters this week and giving them 2 weeks to go to the credit union, that if they're just going to the credit union and so on, it's going to take a longer period of time for them to be okayed. And giving them exactly 2 weeks to find that money. You're telling poor people in Grenada, they have 2 weeks to find $55,000 or $73,000. 2 weeks. Yeah? 2 weeks to find this sort of money. I'm telling you, something definitely has to be wrong. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside.
They say when you don't have good food, you must take in front. So this is my Kaiso for the Masgra 2023. Make sure you all come out and support me. No politics, just Kaiso. Let's go. There is no place in the world like Grenada. Its people are so unique, so fabulous. They take politics real serious. You can't tell a man nothing wrong about his party. He'll deal with you so seriously, and from there on, you are his enemy. But as a man, I must open my big mouth to lament on some things you know about. So the bother come attack me, don't waste your time on a old jungle like me. High in the sky, promises and mama guide. Voters say their expectations were too high. Like the old proverb from way back long, you want to be wrong and strong. Some people balling with their mouth closed. How they do that, only God knows. Man who could talk, they balling with their jaws locked. I thought only dummies used to do that. A lady told me she's dying inside slowly, but she don't mind once it's NDC killing she. She say we had enough on the Claudius.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to get that call, but it seems as though we lost that one.
That they love country more than party. The truth and reality is quite visual and so clear to see. Some things are morally wrong and unethical, are considered as politically essential.
And I'm glad that Dr. Mitchell took the time today to go over how those 2,000 houses that Grenada is supposed to get came about. Yeah? But before we go on to that, let's take this call. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Shillong. Good night, Talking Points.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Are you listening in the bacchanal, man? Yeah. Shillong, it is being said, and I'm telling you from what I'm hearing on some radio programs and social media, it is being said that NNPIs are bad pay and they like freeness. I want to ask a question. Who are the now ministers in government that, before they became in politics, was issuing bad checks? Who are the now minister in government that had a failed chicken farm? Who is a now government minister before he was running for politician, to be a politician, needed a loan to go and buy a house, Who are the now government minister that is being in blast all the time, and who like Phoenix more than these people and them? The irony, what I'm hearing right now, and hypocrisy is blaring. It is blaring. Which one of these people in office right now, which one of these 10 people of this NDC side, Dr. Mitchell jealous? Which one of them? Can you name one?
Go ahead, my brother.
The man has been
Go ahead.
The man has been prime minister for over 22 years, a politician for under 40. What is there for you to prove other than his love for the country and want to see his country better than what is happening now? And I will share the sentiments where he mentioned about the crime and this particular case with this gentleman that was found on the beach under very strange circumstances. And I heard on a police press conference that case was solved and somebody walked in. And all Dr. Mitchell is saying, who in the right mind does that under those kind of circumstances? You are seeing, and I want to open the wounds, but you are seeing the supposed parent of that individual who walked in the police with a picture of the now present prime minister. What does that tell you? Why is it deafening silence on this case? It's a very dangerous thing for people to take fault for things that they do not do. It sets a bad precedence, right? We have crime in this country that is going out of hand. And there are people on social media who should know better, comparing, well, look, a man walking in a police station a couple years back with 2 heads. That happened under an NEC government, brother. So when they're talking this nonsense, get your facts straight. I'm a person that listen very well, and when I get angry about it, I will talk about it. They need to stop. And we are going apart, Chelon, I'm telling you, the level of hatred I'm seeing. Imagine if I were to go to get a loan, or they tell me to go and get a loan for a house or an apartment that costs $77,000 or $55,000. Where am I getting the collateral to put up to get a particular loan? And then when you can't get it, they tell you, well, if you can't pay for it and you can't buy it, and you can't pay for what you have already, evict you and put you on the street. Now imagine this. I have my 3 children, 4 children. How much children I have? I just lose my job because of government interference. And I hear you on the radio saying, well, evict that person and get rid of them because of bad pay. What will be my next outcome? Have a good night, Unida. That's food for thought.
All right, thank you. 4407377. That's 4407377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. You can call us via WhatsApp, or you can also call us directly. For some reason, the overseas line, I was just trying it a while ago, and there is a problem with the overseas line. And again, Dr. Mitchell gave his view. They are giving their views, right? Everybody is entitled to their view. I mean, and Dr. Mitchell is right. How many people do you know walk in and say, well, hey, I killed some? I know of, within the last 10 or 15 years, I may know of 3 individual cases. One, the person was mental, so they brought a bucket to the Grenville police station. That's all I will say on that one. I ain't going to go into no details, but we all remember what happened there. They brought a bucket to the Grenville police station. That is one person that turned themselves in. Yeah? The other situation was back in 2008, was an individual, and I won't call their name because they're out of prison now, but an individual who had murdered their brother, and they walked down to the CID in St. George. Yeah? But those were things that, as they did it, they went one time. They didn't wait how much months and then decide they're going in, when they pretty much think that they get away with it. So I understand where Dr. Mitchell is coming from, and anybody with common sense would understand where he's coming from. Let me repeat that statement. Anyone with common sense would understand where he's coming from. So why are some of you upset that that particular pseudo journalist out there in the US is having a problem with what Dr. Mitchell says? People with common sense would understand, so therefore you can't expect him to understand. So don't be upset. Allow him. Dr. Eric Williams had something he used to say. Good night, Zoe. Time for bed. Right? Exalia, time for bed too. Nice. Dr. Eric Williams had something he used to say after he turned off his hearing aid. He used to say, I wouldn't use the exact terminology, but the beast with the long ears, let it bray. So why are you all worried about that individual and what he's saying? Yeah? 440-7377. That's 440-7377. So Dr. Mitchell is very clear when it came to the houses. Now you had a situation where Grenada was devastated. On going to China, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and the late, beloved, blessed Elvin Nimrod of Carriacou went to China, and part of the package that was given to Grenada, apart from the other support that was given to Grenada, there were two major items on it. It was the year 2005. The World Cup cricket was coming to Grenada. In 2007, Grenada had already been allocated. We would be getting matches and so on. In fact, remember, was Dr. Mitchell that went and collected the World Cup trophy on behalf of the region and so, So, the World Cup was coming to Grenada and the region. Your facility was destroyed. The Chinese said, we will rebuild that facility for you, so that not only will you be able to have the World Cup, but continue to have various matches coming into Grenada. And we've seen the English team, we've seen the Australians, we've seen the Indians, we've seen various teams coming to Grenada. Yeah, since then. The other package, outside of that, remember, they also had to do the athletic stadium, which the NDC was denying there was an agreement for. But all of a sudden, when the new National Party came back into office, yeah, they admitted, yes, we have an agreement with you to do that, we shall do. And they made sure and they did it. Yeah? That's why I'll never forget that Chinese ambassador, Madame Ui Bukrian. I'll never forget her. Yeah? But in addition to that, the NDC administration had decided that they would take money for budgetary support. In other words, the money that had to go from the Chinese to build houses here in Grenada. They said, don't give us the houses. We'll take that money and use that money for budgetary support to do other things. When the new National Party came in, we were able to get back those houses. Which are the houses that are built now? The houses are for the poor and vulnerable people, because after Hurricane Ivan, there was a lot of weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth here in Grenada because people lost their homes. People lost their homes. So outside of getting the facilities where your people could improve their skills and so on, and you could also use it as an income generator for the island, you also secured houses for the people of Grenada. That was clear. This government has decided to take low-income houses, houses that were geared for the people. Again, as Dr. Mitchell said, couldn't go in the bank. They can't go into the bank and get a loan to build a house and so on. They might have property. A relative might give them some property or rent them some property or lease them some property. But they can't go to the bank and say, give me 50-something or 60-something or 70-something $1,000. They can't. So these were houses that these people were supposed to be able to obtain. This government come in and change wrong the whole thing. And then they don't want to tell us. Well, they feel they ain't going to tell us, but by the hook or the crook, they go have to tell us who are the name of the people, the names of the people. The selection panel that have selected the people for those homes, because we want to know. We want to clarify. We want within our own selves to feel comfortable that the brothers and sisters, brothers and or sisters, yeah, or the children, or the parents, or the uncles, or the co-workers, or the friend or girlfriend of individuals on that panel have not been selected and placed in some of those places. And the only way we can know that, and know that a truly free, fair, transparent process has taken place, is by telling us the names of the people on that panel. This ain't no secret society. You could tell us, because it's we business. So tell us the names. So when Mr. Hugh Thomas, who is the chairman of the Housing Authority of Grenada, tries to give us the Mr. Hugh Thomas, as far as I am concerned, and I'm making this comment as a fair comment here tonight, you lie. What do you mean you ain't know the names of the people on the committee? A multi-million-dollar project under your remit as the chairman of the board of directors, and you don't know the people who are selecting people to go into those? Come on, man. Who are you fooling with that? Seriously. Seriously. You can't fool us with that. So we need to know the names of the people on that committee. It is only fair for us to know the names of the people who are on that committee. We want to make sure none of their relative, the nene or the parent, yeah? We want to make sure none of them end up in those places ahead of other people. That none of their relatives signed up when the process was reopened last year, and they were given priority over other people that were there since phase 1 waiting and are in need and ought to qualify under the standards that were put in place by the last administration. And again, folks, I'm going to have to take a short break because I realize my video has decided to do the dance with me tonight again. But let me just take this call while I sort that problem out. Hello, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so based on what I heard, we them journalists today, we're supposed to be around today to Dr. Keith Mitchell, and on the other, as far as I understand, only 2 was there when I listening. And these people too crooked, man. The people we put as what you call it again to for the husband. They know what they're doing. There's too much of crooked people inside it. It's time for them to resign and go about the business. All right.
Mm-hmm. All right, my friend. Mm-hmm. As to the question in relation to the journalist, you can't expect me to answer that. The journalist will answer. Now, the thing is, you have to understand we're in the year 2023. Journalists do not need to physically come to any activity anymore once it is being broadcast. You may very well realize that while you didn't hear anybody from GBN, for instance, asking questions, that various aspects of this morning's press conference was carried on the GBN. So maybe they had no questions because Dr. Mitchell was very, very clear in his statements. So they probably didn't have any questions to ask. The same with MTV News. While you did not hear them ask any questions, while I didn't get a chance to see it tonight, I'm pretty sure that various aspects of the press conference were in their news tonight. So not because you didn't hear the journalists there and so on, check the news. If you see nothing in the news and you see nothing, then there's a concern. Yeah? So that's as far as I'm concerned, that's a non-issue. Yeah, so there's a message here. When was the last time dentists come to Petit Martinique? It have elderly people dying with toothache on the island. No dentists. Yeah? But Tevin boasting about dental chair. He bring to PM. The elderly can't jump on a boat to go to Carriacou. Yes, you have some people are in their 80s and so on. Even younger, they might be in the 60s or 70s, but due to medical condition, they cannot jump a boat and leave Petit Martinique to go down to Carriacou to sort out whatever issue it is. And therefore, the dentist needs to go up there. So here what, I might have to send a dentist up to Ali. When my dentist come back, when Dr. Julie Dubois is back from receiving her international award, we might have to talk to her. Yeah, folks, and we go organize and send up Dr. Julie Dubois and thing to help out the people in Petit Martinique, because like the MP ain't too care about Petit Martinique too, eh? Yeah, he ain't too care about Petit Martinique too. Boasting to send up dental chair, but they forget to send the dentist to use it. Yeah. 440-7377, that's 440-7377. That is the number for you to get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah. Now, as was mentioned by journalist Linda Straker yesterday during the press conference that they had, and also these people in Dominica got houses. What did Dominica do? They distributed them free to people that need. Remember, they had a bad hurricane and so on, destroyed most of their country, and so they got houses. They distributed free. But this government is trying to suck the lifeblood out of each and every Grenadian. So what have they done? They have set it up in a way that these 600 houses are now 600 new sets of people going to be paying taxes, because all 600 and how much are going to have to pay property tax. The people who are in the present housing schemes do not have to pay property tax due to the way that was arranged, because you're speaking about vulnerable people here. You're speaking about people who are not high income earners. But these housing projects that are being given out now These people are being given the land freehold. Remember, they're getting the thing freehold. According to the Condominium Act, they're getting it freehold. As such, they are going to have to pay property tax. So immediately government laughing because they know, yes, they get in the house, but we getting a pile of money at the end of the year from them. Well, next year at least, we getting a pile of money from them because they have to pay property tax. Yeah? And their friends, the friends of the NDC, who are within the banking sector and the financial sector and so on and the insurance sector, they're smiling as well. Because they know these people have to come and get life insurance, so they're getting that money on a monthly basis. They're smiling. That's 600 people at least that are going to have to go and get life insurance if they don't already have it, that are going to have to go and get life insurance to cover the loan that they have to take within the next 2 weeks. They're going to have to go and get that life insurance policy. And then once they're qualified and they pay the money and so on, they get the home, then these people have to also ensure that they get homeowners insurance. So they have to get that too. Yet still you have a man come in and parade like, oh, it's only going to cost them a 200 or 100 and something at 200 or at the most of 400. You lie. I telling you straight, you lie. Speak the truth. Yeah, don't try and defend the government thing with that. They lie. It ain't no look at 200 and 400 and thing. These people are going to find themselves in some instances as much as 800-900 due to the way that this has been structured. Yeah? And talking about they're going to get loan. Listen, if you're 45 years old, you're not going to get a 30-year loan. They're going to try to make you pay that as fast as possible before you retire. Yeah? So you'll get a 15-year. They might even tell you they want you to try and pay it off in 10. So you're not going to benefit from being able to pay off in 30 years. You're not going to benefit like that. People who are in their 50s, they might even get a loan in the first place. Because retirement age, even though you're moving it from 60 to 61 to 62, going up to 65, as it stands now, it's 61, isn't it? And in many instances, it still is 60. So these people will be on retirement. What are they going to pay the loan with? Their pension? What are they going to pay it with? So these people will no longer be able to qualify for those homes. So you throw them out one time. So according to your age, you may not be able to qualify for a loan from the financial institution. And remember, the older you are, when you go for life insurance and health insurance and them kind of thing, they'll treat you differently, yeah? Yeah, because you're more likely to go. So they treat you differently. The younger you go for life insurance and health insurance, the lower your premiums are. Right? And people have to do this kind of thing in 2 weeks. Again, and don't forget, because I think we tend to forget something here outside of the housing thing, that the allied healthcare workers still have the axe hanging over their head. Yeah, the sword of Damocles, let's call it. Yeah, hanging over their head. Because if I remember correctly, they have just a few weeks, I think it is, to complete their process, or they have to close down. They can't operate. Because remember, they have different things that they have to do. They have to get certified and they have to get all these things. And I can tell you straight up, the vast majority of hairdressers, nail tech, some of these people say they're just learning about this thing. Because not everybody does listen to talking points. So they're just learning about this thing. Some people lose their certificate from years back during IVA and all kind of things. Some people lose their certificates that they had. And even if you have a certificate, it has to be from a recognized facility. And these people have just a few weeks to complete this process. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a problem for many of them, because if they continue with this, it means many of these people will be operating technically illegally. We have a call online. Good night.
Hello, good night, Mr. Scott.
Good night, ma'am.
What was the first arrangement concerning these houses that they say people have to pay for it right away now? What was the first arrangement?
The houses were for the poor and vulnerable people in Grenada, the low income earners. Mm-hmm. So it's, for instance, you may say, in the public service, you may say the people who are like teachers, police and nurses and things. In those instances, yes. And other people who may not be earning as much as them, but really and truly need a home. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you have the more middle income. So you have like the police, teachers, nurses, those kind of categories of people. But you also have the lower income earners, the people who don't earn as much as a $2,000 a month and so. Yeah?
Yeah.
So those people that may earn a 2,005, a 2,000, have people that earning $1,000 a month, that kind of thing. These houses are for the lower income people, but they have just been priced out of that. In fact, a lot of police, nurses, and teachers and so, they have also just been priced out of this. They can't get the houses.
Well,
They have been priced out of it too.
to me, if I have to pay this kind of money for an apartment like that, I rather go on like lease a piece of land and build a house.
My dear, one of the bad things about this is that these people have been given 2 weeks. 2 weeks, they have to find the money in 2 weeks. If they don't find it in 2 weeks, they lose the opportunity.
And what the Prime Minister is saying on about that? What is his intake about this situation?
My dear, whenever anything like this happens, the Prime Minister is always out of country.
Yes,
So
I
he has-
realize that.
He has made sure that he has absented himself from the island while this is taking place. So he could come back and be amazed that, wow, all they do that? No, that is not what we're supposed to do. We didn't have, and the minister that do that on your own. Because you
Well-
realize the minister wasn't at the press conference yesterday. Eh?
Yeah.
An important press conference like that, and your minister does not think it's important enough to be there. That tells you what he thinks of the people and he thinks of Grenadians.
They don't care about nobody. They don't care about nobody. One more question. Sometimes I just sit down and I just want to know what it is that the Prime Minister always have to travel so much, and there is things that is happening in Grenada and he's not addressing it, but he's traveling so much. I can understand why. I ain't saying he don't have to travel, but why he have to travel so much. Today, he just have a summit here. Next day, after the summit, he gone already. Nothing to say. Well, you go explain to people how the summit passed, or so and so, and you go say he gone after the summit in Grenada. So I can understand why, if the Prime Minister is a Grenadian, he a Grenadian?
My dear, your guess is as good as mine.
Have a good night, Mr. Scott.
Thank you so very much for your call, my dear. I do
Thank
enjoy
you.
speaking to you. 4407377. That's 4407377. That is the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, I find my throat starter. Yeah. Now, folks, I want you all to take a look at this. There's one of the letters that they have issued. Yes, only know you will get the letter. Right, so one of the letters that they have issued here. Who is your financing partner? So who giving you the money? Yes, so whether it's National Insurance Scheme, Commercial Bank, Grenada Development, Credit Unions, but we'll come back to that. We've got a caller online. Good night.
Yes, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Good night.
How is everything going?
Quite fine. You go right ahead.
All right. Yes, Sheldon, I've been considering something. I haven't called the program in a while. My phone is down. This housing situation currently, it really is bothering me, and it's bothering a lot of Grenadian people. You are hearing the concern of those persons. Now, I remember just like what happened after Ivan. Sorry that I have to go back there. After Ivan, we had a housing committee in this county here, this area. And long story short, when the NDC came into office, NDC of Prime Minister Tillman Thomas, 2008, they dismantled the list that they met there, right, to deal with the housing situation. And the housing thing here down at La Colombe was mainly for the persons who was dislocated, who lost their houses, who were living with parents, and so forth. And so they entrusted the group down here And we were warned not to be too colorful about this thing. Forget the green, just do it across the board. And we did a good job. Now, this present situation kind of repeats itself from that time. There were persons who we went on the behalf of getting the forms in the constituency office. And Brother Sheldon, I could tell you, Grenadians, we did not do it on a party affiliation manner, right? There was no political. I would not say that there might not have been, folks who got through because of, the situation and so forth, and the party recommend them to housing and so forth. And that happens, But I met a lady just recently, last week, a matter of fact, Monday, and she said, Pastor, do you think I would get through the house? I say, well, you had to redo the form, and she said yes. But they had called her. Said they called me, and they asked for me to redo the form, and so on. That's 2 weeks coming up, right? Right? And so my big concern here is that how many of those persons who were on the first list will get through those houses? And I know for sure that a lot of these persons are NDC supporters. I'm telling you, because I know it. I'm on the ground. I know them.
Boss, a lot of them have been boasting that they were told, don't worry your head, you're getting your place.
That's what
They've
I
been
learned.
boasting. They've been telling people, me, I don't studying that. They don't tell me I getting my place already. And that's before the announcement and before letters started to go out.
Right.
And even before calls started going out. These people knew that they were getting homes.
Right. So that changed because you have to have collaterals and things that you can show that you could manage alone. And most of these persons who I know did the list, the application, were really poor and vulnerable. It doesn't like to hear mentioning that. Poor and vulnerable persons. Now, just to leave this, I want to see how that would really draw down. The Belai community that they rushed into and giving about 51, 52 families a mark for the WASH program. They are the same tongue that our Prime Minister mentioned, that the getting rid of the party kind of party relation and affiliation, and it doesn't have to be NDC or NNP to get a house. I mean, a toilet in a bathroom, right? And then he spoke about nepotism. You understand? We had to get rid, and it's not about nepotism and but look at the faces, look at the persons who are on the down there in the village. These are persons who campaign heavily. Now I have no problem with that, but watch your words. Listen to what you just said, and look who are the ones that you interviewed on the program, right? And look who is in charge. And again, I have no problem, but watch what you're saying. What you're saying is not consistent to your practice. Right? Mm-hmm. So all along, they, and I want to say to the Prime Minister, I want to say to the team, they need to stop misleading people. They need to stop trying to influence people, against their conscience. Let people make the choices and the decisions. And when people would have made the decision and the choices, they need to respect that. Because that's the Constitution. That's the law of Grenada. We are not under maybe a revolutionary government who would want to lock you because you're a counter-revolutionary, and etc. We are free agents, right? We have our freedom to make our choices. So we need that they stop doing this thing and be honest to the Grenadian people and stop setting up people. This whole thing is about setup. Thank you, brother.
All right. Thank
Have a
you so
good
very much, my brother.
Mhm.
4407377. That's 440-7377. That is the number you can call to join us on the inside on Talking Points. And folks, I was showing you this document, and it speaks to the financing partners here: the National Insurance Scheme, commercial banks, Grenada Development Bank, credit unions. So you approach either of them and see if you can secure a loan from one of them. Now, it doesn't matter the institution, but you must be able to qualify for a loan. Yeah, you must be able to qualify. They're not going to give you a loan if they don't think that you can repay it. Yeah, they are not going to give you a loan if they do not think you can repay it. And last night I was saying, put the money in the GDP and let people go there and borrow. I see they have Grenada Development Bank here. I didn't hear that the government put a $10 or $15 million for the people to go and borrow. But the thing is, even if they do that, if they put the money into the GDP or they put the money into the National Insurance Scheme, it's the same thing. Best they just give the houses to the people in the same format that was being done before. Because Massa Bull, Massa Cow is still government. So you're just trying to make one statutory body look good by shifting money from one statutory body to another, from government to that statutory body, to shift to another statutory body. So you could say that this statutory body is doing good business. Let's say the Grenada Development Bank. They're doing good business because they had issued loans of $10 or $15 million. But they've issued loans of $10 or $15 million that go after paying another statutory body. Massa Bull, Massa Cow, it's still Massa own at the end of the day. Yeah? So the commercial banks and the credit unions. But I want you all to take particular note of this section here. You see why I'm playing around here. So that person would have gotten this letter this week. So they have roughly just a little over 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks to find that, well, basically 2 weeks to find that money. The offer must be accepted on or before October the 17th. Yeah? So by week after, they have to find that money. So if one bank turned them down, and how much bank you have now? You have 3? You have to go to cooperative bank, they turn it down. You try your public bank, you turn it down. You have to try. Yeah? That's why some people have just been saying, hey, I'm no longer interested. Because it doesn't make sense. So they're saying clearly, they are not interested. So I just thought you would see, so they're asking people to do this, to do all this thing, get this in 2 weeks. In the same way, remember when they came with the Allied Healthcare, they had come and they were trying to do that by an unreasonable time, asking people to put together documents, and so within a space of time that was unreasonable and still is unreasonable, because they're asking, for instance, the Allied Healthcare thing, they're asking people to get certified and that sort of thing, when they have nobody to certify them. The Allied Healthcare Council asked them if the people who are supposed to come out from there to go into different people's businesses, and to certify them, to make sure that, yes, this person can do that and that person can, ask them if they are the staffing. But yet still you have a deadline coming up in relation to this thing. Yeah? So these are the things that we see taking place. I just thought you would want to see what one of the contracts actually looks like in relation to this. Let me see if I can find another bit of the document here. And let me just let you see this one. Let me see if I could pull it up. Okay, let me take this call first and then we'll get to that part. We've got a call online. Good night.
Mr. Douglas, good night.
Good night. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, go right ahead. You're live.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out, I think I called last and I said that one of the things that the Chinese government said is that the houses should not be sold. They however said that government obviously would put monies up for the project. So they should at least try to recover that amount. What I'm wondering, Sheldon, the 50,000 or 73,000 per unit, is that intended to make a profit? and the sale so that the entity, which it seems to be the housing authority, would get some money. Because I'm looking at it this way. You should get a gift, right? It costs you nothing. But you will say to me, okay, but we have to do infrastructure, etc. Okay, so let's say it costs you $5 million for the infrastructure work. It is well in place as a government to say we need to recover that, right? So whatever we're charging for the house, it should be to recover our expenses and the future maintenance of the unit. So you project and you sell for that price. But I am not sure if that was done.
Well, what they're claiming here is that they have marked down the price by 55%, that the actual real value is 55% more than, so it's 100 and something thousand, I think in one instance, I think 200,000 or something was one of the figures they quoted.
Are these people remembering that these are apartments, common walls, common flooring, common roof? So your flooring is my roof, right? Your wall is my wall. Unlike individual buildings, that would cost more. An individual building is going to cost you more than an apartment. So if they're saying it is 50% of the cost, you're saying that a one-bedroom apartment is $100,000? A one-bedroom apartment?
That is what they're claiming. That is what they're claiming.
A two-bedroom is $150,000. I mean, maybe I went to school in August, but knowing the cost of construction, I don't think they got the figures right at all. Remember, Sheldon, it did not cost the government of Canada $1 for the structure. I'm talking about the Chinese. They brought their materials, they brought their labor, so they did not pay for it. So if you don't, even if what they're saying about 55% less, even if that is true, and I don't think it is, what did you input as a government for the building? Your input would probably for infrastructural work and for the maintenance that you're projecting down the road. That is a future expense. So that one I can't understand. It would be nice if we can find out how much did the government put in for the project.
Because pretty loosely, I think a 50-something a $50-something million figure was quoted somewhere yesterday. I'll have to go back and listen over the audio, but there was a 50-something million quoted. And in my mind, that may have been the cost on the Chinese side. I don't think that would be the cost on the government side.
No, because, I mean, even a lot of the infrastructure, it was done by the Chinese, right? So it would be interesting to know, and maybe our MPs could ask that question in Parliament, and give us the entire cost of the construction of those buildings. How much was government required to put in? And then we'll be able to have probably a more sober conversation. But I want to say something quickly, because somebody accused me of trying to promote that the houses should be given away free. And they were saying that in the last administration, it was not free. Those people who got that letter you just displayed there have two options. Either they come with cash or they take a loan. Right? Now, you put in the civil in the devil and the deep blue sea. Because 99% of the people who need those houses do not have the cash and they cannot qualify for a loan. You did not give them an option 3, you know. The option 3 should have been make a deposit, a 10% deposit, and pay X amount per month. That's an option 3. It would have been...
They have said clearly that they will not be accepting any part payment. So you can't even go to them with 20,000 and say, well, okay, hold the 20,000 and I'm going to come with the 30,000 within X amount of time. they are refusing that. You have to come with the full thing.
Well,
They have
you
said
see,
it yesterday in the press conference.
I also have a problem with the minister. I don't know if somebody used the word arrogant. I don't want to use it. But I don't know if he thinks before he speaks. I've heard him on at least 2 occasions come down on the construction. In my view, blaming the Chinese, saying that the work was not professionally done. That's what I heard. That's what I interpreted from what he said. I could be wrong. But then I heard him come down on the management of the housing authority with a sledgehammer. Incompetence, mismanagement, those words were used. So I understand why the manager resigned. Because if my minister or the minister responsible for the institution I'm working with can publicly call me incompetent, publicly say that I was mismanaging the institution, what am I doing there? So to me, that's the strategy is, if I cannot find a clause in your contract to fire you, I'll throw you under the bus. Mm-hmm. That seems to be a new strategy.
Now we see that happening at various institutions. We see that happening at various statutory bodies.
Cheryl, as I said to you, I was a director on housing authority. One of the most difficult things that any housing authority, not only in Grenada, but throughout the Caribbean, would find themselves facing is the decision to move to take people's property back. Nowhere in the Caribbean. If you go to any housing authority in the Caribbean, you'll find that all of them have serious arrears. Because people, one, is government, so well, I am going to pay now. And two, some of them just not in a position to pay. So the outstanding amount that's on the books, when I was there as a director, we had outstanding amounts coming back from Gary's time come forward. It has always been that way. So when the minister go and make it seem as though the housing authority that he inherited, they like to use that word, was so badly mismanaged, that's why there's so much money outstanding. Government don't move to take anybody's house. Even if the authority makes a recommendation, when it goes to the government, whichever government, whether it's NNP or NDC, they'll say no. Well, no, I shouldn't say NDC will say no, because I saw the other day they bulldozed somebody's house. So that's not an issue, right? But it's unfortunate. What I suspect, and I'm wrapping now, is that there are certain groups of people in Grenada who I call them upper lower or lower middle, right? Let's call them lower middle income, who now have an opportunity to own a property. They have a job, right? They have the money, and these houses are sitting there. You'll see the people will be moving in, because the pronouncement that you have up to the 15th, the 17th, or 15th of October, if you do not take up the offer, you're forfeited.
Yeah, of course.
So
They've got to give somebody else, yeah?
Well, you know what we said, children? We wrote them, we offered them the house, and they didn't take it, so we gave it to somebody else. Let's keep our eyes open to see who would be moving into this house. Mm-hmm. My suspicion is that there are people waiting in the wing or in the wind to move. These houses are not for low income people. It's not. The conditions that presently is advanced. No, I'm saying no low income earner, somebody who works as a cleaner, right? The minimum wage probably would have gone up to $1,200 though, maybe. If it gets there, because that's another issue with this minimum wage thing, I probably would have to call back.
Me and you had to have a talk on that one, yes.
But where would they get $700 to pay, or even $500 per month to pay? Because if you go to the bank and you're earning $1,100, the bank says to you that they would not give you the facility if your repayment exceeds 50% of your wages, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're working for $1,000, right, and you have to pay $600 a month, the bank won't give you the money because $600 is more than half of your salary. Who would qualify? Where would these people get the cash? So let's put to be continued in terms of that. And I think I don't know if you listened to GBN tonight. Some people spoke. I don't know if they gave the report and everybody who spoke, but the vast majority of people who spoke, they're saying that, this thing won't work. A lady said, a gentleman told her he went to 2 banks, he can't get the money, so you have to forget it. So let's see what happens, but it's unfortunate that a gift from the People's Republic of China is causing so much drama. And what these people fail to realize is that the people who give you things look to see what you do with it,
Mm-hmm.
and they decide whether they'll give you again. I wish the Chinese give us houses again, but if
Let me ask you though, because you may be better with the figures. 2,000 houses were promised. How many? This is 600 and some, and I think it was 300 and so in the first. How many was there in the first set? How many have we gotten thus far? Because there should have been a phase 3, but I realize neither the Housing Authority nor the Minister is mentioning anything about a phase 3.
Well, they have to get for the phase 3. They have to first identify lands.
Mm-hmm.
I know they were talk about some lands in St. John. I think that's what been for the phase 3.
But I don't think that's in relation to the phase 3. I know that there was a separate project that was being developed for St. John, unless they have now mashed the two into one. But there's a separate project that was being developed for St. John. I think in, I can't remember the exact area, but I remember something was being discussed for there.
How many houses per year we supposed to be having? The promise that we got?
Well, from the promise from the present administration is 500 per year.
All right. So
in a public-private partnership. So again, the same people who can qualify for these houses will not qualify for any house under a public-private partnership. They're going to be priced out because they're basically going to have to go through the same that these people are going through.
Yeah, and this one was free. I mean, so that's the point I was making, Sheldon. This one, the bulk of the funds was provided by a friendly government, and it's costing 50 and 70, right? And they're saying that it's 55% of the cost that they're charging. So somebody's math is not right. Anyway, I took sufficient time out of your program.
Now you could have taken a half hour as far as I'm concerned because you have the information and the listeners. This is talking points. People want to get the talking points so when they're going out there to discuss the matter. You were a member, a director of the board before. You
Yes,
understand this issue. So we are glad to have you here. And if you feel you're just going and talk there and run out, you lie.
It's interesting, and I think we have to keep our ears and our eyes open to see what's happening because it's an unfolding drama with this houses. And I said to somebody yesterday, I don't understand why a government is shooting themselves in the foot. You see this issue with these houses? This is going to define people's vision with regard to how this group, those of us who at the bottom level, are treated. Because these are the people, the Chinese are saying they can't afford to build their own house. You don't have money to build one for them, so we're giving you for them. Right? Mm-hmm. But this is how we're treating them. This is how we're treating these people. You write people, tell them they have 2 weeks to go and get a loan. Somebody told me today that I was asking whether the Condominium Act was in place, and I'm told that it is. That allows financial institutions to take a mortgage on a condo or apartment. So if it's there, then I guess that's what they'll have to use. But I don't know the institutions that's listed there. You saw any commercial bank?
They did say commercial banks, the National Insurance Scheme, the Grenada
No,
Development.
did they name any commercial bank?
No, they didn't name them. But you know, we only have three. We only have three here anyway. So
Well, yeah, but
we're down to
there's
three.
a reason. There's a reason why they don't name a bank. They probably, because what the banks will say to you, if you call a bank, they say, "Look, we want to do this." Yeah, I mean, we have a problem. Let the client come in. There's no commitment. Let the client come in. And NS have just launched their own loan program, right? It's been advertised heavily, and they would not want to tie their foot up or tie up a lot of money into this, because more often than not, when something is well, it's only government owned, the person is going to take a loan in their own name, right? But the institution would have to determine whether or not the asset that they're using as security is a saleable one. How many people want to buy it? Who are the possible takers? So there are a number of things that they would have to look at before they commit themselves. The credit unions, maybe. NIS, I ain't sure. GDB, I don't even have money. They have money to do it, because you cannot, as you said a while ago, you can't take out money from your left pocket and put it in your right pocket. You might as well keep it in your right pocket.
Is Masako, is government giving money to a statutory?
If you send it to GDB, you might as well finance it in yourself.
But just do it the old way.
Yeah, but you see, I think the record is there. The people who are in the houses now have the experience, and they can speak to the experience. How, I won't say how easy, but how less stressful it was for them to get into a building as compared to now, where you have 2 weeks to get cash or get a loan, and if you don't get it, you forfeit. It's very unfortunate, but let's see what happens.
All right.
I'll stay tuned, and let's keep our ears and our eyes open, because this matter should not be just swept under the carpet. This is for the people who are in need. Have a good night, sir.
All right. Thank you so very much, sir. And folks, you've heard there from a former member of the Board of Directors of the Housing Authority of Grenada. And he gave some historical perspective in relation to this issue. And a point that he made there, the friendly government, the People's Republic of China, who have given those houses to Grenada, they are watching. They are listening, and it will affect our ability to get the same sort of assistance in the future. This government don't know nothing about these houses. This dates back to the year 2005. That is when Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and the late Honorable Elvin Nimrod went to China and secured these houses for the people of Grenada. And they secured them because we had Hurricane Ivan the year before that destroyed a significant volume of the houses here. People who had moved out and were living on their own were back living with their mother and father and so on. You had families, because different houses were mashed up and so on. Families, how much people living in one home and so all those kind of things. In fact, in 2005, you still had people with tarpaulin roof. The younger ones ain't gonna know what you're talking about with that. Yeah, the tarpaulin roof and so on. So that was the situation under which the Chinese said, yes, there are many people that need assistance. We realize that financially they are unable to build a home for themselves. We are going to come to Grenada and build the homes for you. And we actually going to send our people all the way from China, send the material, everything, and build these homes for you. The promise was and remains 2,000 houses. If this government, after hearing, and again, the caller just alluded to that, the statements that were being made by the minister in relation to the quality of work that was done by the Chinese. They are listening. So you feel the Chinese are not listening to everything that's being said in relation to this issue right now and writing a report that they send back home? They are listening, and it will affect our ability, because these are these people that don't know how to run anything. So it's going to affect our ability in the future to get the remaining houses, if we ever get them. Or if we decide now that, look, we want to try and get a further 2,000. We want to say, well, okay, you all had promised that, but here's what. We need some more housing. And we want different categories now. Yeah? It's going to affect our ability to get those. So just before I go back to the phone lines, though, I just wanted to show you this because some folks have been asking, and the person who has to do their thing by October the 17th. Now, while the letter is, you see the letter's date there, the last day of September, people have been receiving their letter. Some people didn't collect it yet, but they've been receiving their letters this week. So you have people that, one or two got their letters last week, before the people at the press conference and say people getting the letter, one or two get last week. But the vast majority of people are collecting their letters this week, right? So, and in this case, yeah, a 2-bedroom, $73,000. This is one of them for Carriacou, yeah? And conditions subject to offer, signing of the sale agreement 30 days of accepting the offer to purchase, yeah? So within 30 days, they're going to have the signing and so on. But you have 2 weeks in which to come back and tell them that you are taking the property. You have to come back with your cash. And again, if you have 15 and you had 20,000, which poor person in Grenada have $15,000 sitting there? Which poor person in Grenada will have $55,000 sitting there? Which low-income earner in Grenada is going to have sitting in the bank right now, sitting in their credit union account, $73,000? Which one? Yeah? And they're not taking partial payments. Again, they are not taking partial payments. So a relative from overseas, 2 or 3 relatives can come together and say, well, okay, we could make up a 30,000 and give you, and bring that for them and see what they say. No, they want that. Don't come to them with no. They want all they care about is the 55 or the 73,000. You can't come to them with a partial payment. You can't come to them and say, well, I have 5,000 here. Let that be the start, and then I could work on getting at least a 500 to you a month over the next. They want to hear that. They want to hear that. You gotta come and come straight with your money. We got a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Good night, my dear. How are you?
Are they easy? How are you?
Well, are they and are not easy.
I hear you today, man. Congratulations to that man.
Of course.
Nobody can stop him.
Yes,
and we're getting the facts. Mm-hmm. And Sheldon.
Yes, ma'am.
The lady waiting on you, you know.
Well, I did try to contact a couple times and I didn't get through. So I will do so again.
You have the number, ain't it?
Yes, I do have the number, yeah.
Yeah.
But I tried. Maybe I have a mistake with the number, so I'll call you again and verify.
You go call me?
Yeah, I'll call you and verify.
Right.
Because probably I may have a mistake with the number, but I did try to call her.
Okay, then.
Yeah. All right, my dear.
Are they listening, man?
Okay, Auntie Muna.
I'll take care.
All right, you stay blessed.
Right.
440-7377. That's a 440-7377. That's let me clear the phone line. Yeah, that's the number you can call to get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, but I'm saying here that no person who should qualify for those low-income houses has $73,000 sitting there. If they had it sitting there, they'd have done bill a place already. We got a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine, man. You go right ahead.
Good. One thing I would like to hear Dr. Mitchell give a bit more explanation on the throne speech, right? So what's to come, okay, in the budget? Well,
let me just ask you, why do you want to hear Dr. Mitchell give an explanation for a throne speech that's the NDC zone? They have to give an explanation for it, not him?
No, the reason I asked that, like, he could explain, he's a gentleman who have been sitting there for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And just listening to it, he could, he know what he could sit down there, and I know I have firm confidence on him that we know what it is. Look out for this, look out for that, what is to come. you could pinpoint that. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing is that supposedly, right, that let me say people who all have applied and they're getting money, okay, for the houses and they're getting houses, where would that money be put into use?
No, that money goes to the Housing Authority of Grenada. What they are technically trying to do is they're trying to place the Housing Authority into a position that it has a significant amount of funds in it one go. Remember, you're talking about 600 people here.
Yeah.
Some of them
Yeah,
paying
but-
55,000, some of them paying 73. So that money goes directly to the Housing Authority of Grenada.
Yeah, but where would they will go with that money after?
No,
Yes,
the
the
housing,
Housing Authority.
that money would be within the Housing Authority for whatever projects or so that they are going to do. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say now that they have fixed the Housing Authority of Grenada, that they are washed with money. But they're not saying how they're going about doing that.
Yeah, but would they be politically pushed to do something on a different aspect?
I don't fully understand.
Okay, all right. So sometimes, like, they said they have 500 houses to build, like a Grenadian style houses, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Would then they could then do housing authority could be pushed to go towards that way to build houses?
No,
From
the
that money?
government has stated that they're going to be doing 500 Grenadian style houses a year. Right now, by the end of next year, they should have 1,000 at least, or 1,000 plus, because we didn't see any 500 in the first year. They said it's going to be part of a public-private partnership. They're going to partner with some international companies. Those companies will come in and work along with the government. Government provide land, placing the utilities, different things. These companies come and build the place. But then you're going to find that the people who are looking to get those houses will face the same situation that the people are facing now with these condominiums, as they call them, homes that were built, that they would have to go and get financing and purchase them outright.
But I still find it where the money that they're making with these houses. I want to see where the uses of that money will be put into.
Well, that's for the Housing Authority, and the Ministry of Housing has to say what the directives are to the. Well, Community Katie say he does talk with the Prime Minister, he and alone. He and the Prime Minister does discuss things and they don't bring it cabinet, so we might never find
There's a
out.
question I put out. I would like to get a firm answer. I mean, I'm not demanding that from you. You understand? Yeah.
Well, let's see
there's
if
a
they
lot of
appear.
money, yeah?
Let's see if they appear on the media anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, yeah?
Yeah, because many of us have many questions for them.
Yeah, so I would like to see, I mean, in all interest, I would like to see go into good use.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, But what is the intention after collecting the money? We want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
Good.
great. Mm-hmm. All right, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Let me just double check something here. Right, because somebody's telling me there on the WhatsApp, they're saying that some of these people might be balling with their mouth closed. Yeah, a lot of them balling with their mouth closed. Yeah, because they fully expected to be able to get their house and so reasonably, and now they've been placed in a situation where it seems untenable. Yeah, so a lot of them balling with their mouth closed. Yeah, and we're speaking here, and let me see, even if it was just the units, and let me see just that. Yes, so we're speaking at least $33 million, at least. So it's going to be a little more than 50-something million dollars that this government stands to earn from people paying for those houses. We have a call online. Good night.
Sheldon, I'm sorry, I had to call back.
That's no problem, sir.
Listen. Somebody posted on your page, and it hit me. Something that we're not factoring in is people's age. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We're not factoring that in. Let's
No,
talk
I was speaking about that in relation to relation to the loans, because a person
because
my age.
This eliminates almost all the people who qualify for the loans, for the houses,
Mm-hmm.
because at $55,000, the least time a bank might give you is probably 15 years, right? 15, maybe 15, because, it's 55 and it's a low income. But the banks would not lend you money beyond your working age, your retirement age. So if you're employed, when you reach 60 or 65, you're sent home. You get an NIS, right? So you're no longer getting a salary.
Mm-hmm.
So your financial status would change. If it's somebody who's 25 years, you can give them 20, 30 years to repay. Somebody is 50 or 60, you can't even give them 10. You cannot even give them 10 years. They don't have a job, or 10. They don't have 10. You call it tenure, job tenure, because they're close to retirement. So I just thought about it.
And even my brother, with the extension of the retirement age, yeah, I think people have to remember that's mainly for people within the government service and in the private sector. People still leaving at 60, yeah?
Yeah, but some private companies take you to 65.
Yeah, some.
But that is a fact. That's something that people have to look at, because you go in and get a loan, and one of the reasons why people will not qualify is because of the age. They will not qualify for the loan. So that's a factor that makes it even more compelling to give these people an opportunity to pay over a period of time. Their child or their cousin, somebody will pay because they're living in the house. But you send them to an institution that looks at the criteria for qualifying, and they tick this off: yes, you qualify, or no, 55 years old, 5 years, in 5 years' time you would not be having a job.
Well, not only that, brother. People who are in their mid-40s, if you're in your mid-40s, they ain't giving you no 30-year loan that you pay over 30 years.
That's the problem. So that I decided to call
you're
back.
45, you're 46. You ain't getting no loan for no 30 years.
That is why I called back, because I didn't know you spoke about it. But that's the reality.
But it's good.
Have to face.
It's good for someone who understands this more than me to re-emphasize it. So I am glad that you called back.
Yeah, and I did some quick maths. If there are 600 units and they're sold at an average of 55,000, that's $33 million. So somebody's doing maths and say, if we sell these houses, and interestingly, Sheldon, when I was on the board, I proposed that. I said, because we wanted to do a middle-income housing project at Housing Authority. The Chinese get for the low-income, but they are middle-income group who need houses, right? So the proposal was, let's sell the houses, use the money to do a middle-income project. That's when we were told, you can't sell those houses. This is a gift. You have to make it as simple as possible for people to get it. So I guess somebody, the guys claim to be bright, So somebody do some maths and say, boy, we can sell those houses, take the cash, and do another project. But at the peril of the people that the houses were earmarked for. That's the problem.
But the last caller asked what is going to be done with the money, and you just made a statement, and probably that's it. For the 500 houses that they intend to build on a yearly basis, it is possible that they're seeing this at least 33 million, and we know it's more speaking here around 60 million or so. Does the public-private partnership, is this the public part of the funding that would be available through the Housing Authority now to build those first 500 houses together with a private entity?
But at whose expense?
Well,
that's the question. At whose expense? At the expense of the people who least could afford it. And that's what's very bad about this, Sheldon. The guys who are working with credit unions, with banks, and with government, they can go and get a loan. And even they themselves have problems because they have to first take a loan and buy the land, pay for the land, then save some money to make up a deposit, to take a loan to build a house, right? So it would take somebody who start working at, let's say, 22 they probably would build a house when they're close to 40, right? And this is the reality because we don't have middle-income housing projects in Grenada where somebody could just go and buy a house, right? We still depend on buying the land, saving, building a house. By then you're close to 40, right? So you the rest of your life you work in to pay the mortgage. When you retire, just about maybe a year before you retire, you finish pay for your house. That's where we are here, you know, and that's why the low income people who don't have the luxury of, you know, buying, saving, and building are given this gift. It's a gift. I think I'm saying this many times. It's a gift because
the Chinese have made that clear.
Yes, because I mean the people cannot under normal circumstances. And you know what when the last set of houses were given, the decision was taken to at least bring in some middle income people in there to kind of, you know, balance off the community. Don't just give the low income people. So they brought in some police, some nurses who technically did not qualify to get those houses. Because there is some criteria for qualifying for these houses, you know. Right? You cannot be, you should not be a government worker. But they made some exceptions to have a balance in the community. They gave a few nurses, a few policemen space. But the average person who should be there are people who cannot qualify to build or to borrow. But now we spin it around and say, to get it, you have to be able to borrow. So I guess that's how things turn around under this administration. Going the opposite. And this tells us, and I'm doing my last piece now, this tells us who these people care about. It's very clear. It's very, very clear. And people might say this is political, but this is reality. Because if your most vulnerable group are being disadvantaged when provisions are made for them to be at an advantage, and you're doing that to them, then what do you expect? Don't expect to see any more low-income houses being built in Grenada. If that's the starting point, we won't get any more. At least, maybe the Chinese might still say we have. I think it's 800 more.
Well, I'm not sure on the amount that remains, but it should be about that.
Yeah. So let's. I'm hearing nothing about it. Nothing has been said about it. So I don't know what, because remember what happened in the previous NDC.
They gave it up.
They traded it.
Say, give us the money so we could pay salaries and still pay the salary late.
Good night, children.
All right, my brother.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, they traded it. They say, give them the money, they go pay salary, give them the houses, and they go pay. Folks, I could probably take one more call, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. I'm going to try to sort out the overseas line. I'm very sorry, my good friends out there in Canada. Patricia and Matthew, good night to you. Ian, out there in Canada, special good night to you as well. All the Canadian listeners, these are not the only three people, you know. There are many other people out there in Canada that listen. I do not know you all by name, as good as I know me Patricia and me Matthew and my Ian. Yeah, I know these people. These people have seen and meet everything. But I know there are many of you out there that are listening. We have a caller online. Good night.
Yeah.
Rastafari.
What's up?
Just cool, yeah.
Listen, you know who feel that the latest development from the NDC now is the old supporters, you know? Because recently the people were saying the gain house, some of them saying the gain houses and the gain houses and the gain houses. But I sure they never thought this 55 and 73 respectively will come up. I sure they thought they gain them houses that are low income rate. And now it's because it's not the NNP who feel it, because they ain't getting NNP nothing. You see? So it's the own supporters they have in there. So then who side they on? I mean, whose side they on? You know, I don't think, Shalan, that, I don't know. I wonder how the Caribbean government's looking at us. I mean, we are really, we're really asking themselves, how the Grenadian people sit down and take all this nonsense? Because, I mean, you ain't seen nothing of substance, you're not seeing nothing decent, nothing in order, everybody doing their own thing, and the Prime Minister can't reshuffle because if he tries to reshuffle, they might reshuffle he. Because they control he, they oversee. He over them. You see how much he's flying out? Pressure you running from him. Pressure you running from Lord. He can't handle the situation. You see, he running finance and he jump back out. Yeah, they say he was the brightest man. Yesterday, jump in finance, book, he jump back out. Say, no, but he don't know. Please. You see, Sheldon is a real manje popot kind of thing we're going on in this government. Real manje popot. And I don't know how long we will take that for, but to be honest with you, I am embarrassed at the situation. I'm very, very embarrassed at the situation that is playing out in Grenada. And I mean, as citizens, as decent citizens, we deserve better than that. We never accustomed getting governance in that kind of manner. Even though 1990 and 2008, it seemed to Kilman closed on the parliament and stuff like that, but still, things were still running in a decent manner. You could see the democratic process was in order, to a sense. But this time, the democratic order is gone, and these guys are then changing the whole thing around. Anyhow, Sheldon, I don't want to keep you too long, but you know, I wish I can see a turnaround in this matter. And I need to hear something from. I hear about Peter and those guys. Peter in where?
Peter David? Yes, in court every single day.
But I hear
fighting up for poor people, children as usual.
I need to hear them our leaders who represent us in a more regular basis. I don't know if you could have them on your program or they could call some. But your program is the most decent program in Grenada right now.
See, one of the problems that Peter generally has, especially with coming on programs during the daytime, is that it's court time.
Yeah.
So that would mean he has to miss out court for somebody, and you know what could happen if he miss out court for somebody. And so it causes a little problem for him. And then by the evening time, he has a lot of stuff doing. But he has promised that he will come on to Talking Points pretty soon.
Yeah,
so he will be here.
Along into here.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed the meeting with Dr. Mitchell today. I listened extensively, and I enjoy the program tonight. There's a lot of information coming out tonight, and a lot of details coming out tonight. So I think those of us who are not educated on these issues, because when we tune on to Talking Points, we can see where we come out from GBSS. Have a good night, brother.
Let presentation, brothers, fellas, hear you saying that. Later, brother.
Take care,
all right. Thank you. All right, folks, and I think we have one here. Let's take one more call. Hello, good night.
So long, good night.
Hey, Kiami to close the door tonight.
Good night to the Grenadian people. Are sleeping in I hear Peter name call.
Of course. Will I wake you?
Mr. David is all right and in the court.
Yes, in the court every morning.
Do not time and leave him alone. Yeah. Good night to everybody. I just wake up with. Yeah.
We did talk, and he did say he will come on Talking
Peter
Points, but just the time. Yeah.
Pedro is there, man.
All right.
Pedro is there. All right. Good night to everybody.
Okay, Kiami. All right. Yes, indeed. Oh, wait, not like everybody decide they want to call. No, okay, I'm taking the call. I'm taking the call. Oops, let me see. Come on, I answered. Come on, WhatsApp computer, stop operating so slow. Oh, gosh, no, I missed it. All right, and let me say a special good night to Diane and Timothy Celestine out there in Canada, loyal listeners listening every night. We say a special good night to you. And, of course, because Margaret and Mulan, yes, special good night to both of you as well. Gemlin, Millie, all of you, special good night. I know that you all are listening, yeah. And I hope that you all are having a wonderful, wonderful night tonight. Folks, we coming quickly to the end. I was trying to get back that last caller. Someone was trying to call a short while ago on the WhatsApp. Let me see if I can get them back and give them the opportunity. Just to make their point, because was trying to take their call, and for some reason the WhatsApp computer. So I think we have the caller online. Hello, good night. Hello.
Sir. Sir.
Hi, good night. Yes, we decided to call you back.
Okay, I appreciate that,
but you're
I'll
alive.
be very quick.
You go right ahead.
My concern is Carrico and P.T. Martinique with the housing. Does the minister, whoever is representing Carrico and P.T. Martinique, does he know what's going on with the housing? Please check that, and maybe tomorrow or some other day you can mention that, and then your program is about to close. And number two, I want you to check for me why Grenada government has to use Grenada money to bring people from overseas to come into Grenada for this independent stuff. Grenadian people are paying, and people overseas in North America, I know what's going on. Why do they have to take Grenadian money and pay people in America to come home? Thank you, sir. And
No. Don't run, caller. Don't run. You can't come and drop that one and run off. So you're hearing what I have been hearing as well. You're hearing that some of the people out there are being told that we're going to fly you home for the independence celebrations. That they're going to be getting ticket. And that is what these millions are being used for, so their friends and family could jump plane and come back.
Yes, they're using Grenadians' money to pay for people to come from America to Grenada. Grenadians' money. And you know they have to change Grenadians to Americans. And then they're using Grenadians' money to put on functions in America. I want to know. Please check that out for me.
I'll do that, my friend. Thank you so very much. And you enjoy the rest of your night.
Have a blessed night.
All right, thank you.
Have a blessed night, sir.
All right. You see sometimes why it's good to take the final call? Yeah, sometimes it's good. Yes, them Celestines take over the thing tonight. Yes, Anne-Marie. You see why it's important sometimes to take the final call. Sometimes the Spirit say do thing, you have to do it. Right, folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I am out of here, and whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. And we're on tomorrow night from 8 p.m. once again, God's willing, with more talking points for you. And you know, some of them, what they say, they balling with their mouth closed. Yeah, let me hear it.
They say when you don't have good food, you must take in front. So this is my Kaiso for the Masgrad 2023. Make sure you all come out and support me. No politics, just Kaiso. Let's go. There is no place in the world like Grenada. Its people are so unique, so fabulous. They take politics real serious. You can't tell a man nothing wrong about his party. He'll deal with you so seriously, and from there on, you are his enemy. But as a man, I must open my big mouth to lament on some things you know about. So the bother come attack me. Don't waste your time on a whole jungle like me. High in the sky, promises and mama guide. Voters say their expectations were too high. Like the old from way back now. You want to be wrong and strong. Some people balling with their mouth closed. How they do that, only God knows. Man who could talk, they balling with their jaws locked. I thought only dummies used to do that. A lady told me she's dying inside slowly, but she don't mind once it's NDC killing she. She said we had enough on the Claudius, so nothing wrong if baby Jesus kill us. All those who claim that they love country more than party, The truth and reality is quite visual and so clear to see. Some things are morally wrong and unethical, are considered as politically essential. Their backs are against the wall, but you still can't tell them they're wrong at all. $2,000 increase on your salary, but you cut for people out by $150. I wonder who advising you. Old people go drop bam bam